auto remote restart, you still go through your remote restart panel and you do your validate and you choose the different destination servers you want to do. This will take about a minute or so for them to validate. I got some fail, but I'll have some successes here. Just this is the lab system, so it's constantly changing, and we'll watch it validate here. We've already seen some of these have failed, and as normal, you always click on it, see what it says. We've disabled remote restart for this LPAR, so that's why that is, and that's quite a few of these sometimes. The RMC is not working to an LPAR, so that's why we got this error here. So, but we've got quite a few successes here, and it'll take a little bit longer for these last few successes. So basically, you do a validation, and you can have like this frame be targeted. This is one frame you want to set up a automatic restart on, and you can target multiple frames. I only have two P9 frames, so I can only target one frame to the other. But if you had multiple frames, you'd probably target it to multiple. Have one frame evacuate to multiple different frames if you have a remote restart. So I just said let's do all of them, all the LPARs. You don't have to do all the LPARs if you don't want to, but I did do all the LPARs. Maybe you only have 5 or 6 that you want to auto restart if something happens. So you'll do that, and I'm sorry it's taking a little bit of time here for this to time out, but then what we'll do is we'll get over to the next page, and then we'll click on the monitor button, and we'll say, hey, I want this to automatically restart when it occurs. Now, automatic restart can be configured one of two ways. You can have an automatic restart if someone just powers down the frame, and we sort of have that option in so I can test it because I don't have an easy way to crash a frame, and most customers don't either. And or you can configure it to remote restart if the frame crashes. So you can say remote restart if it's powered off or if the frame crashes, and you might power it off just as a normal state of affairs, so you wouldn't want to do auto restart there. But you might want to you want to set it probably say I want auto remote to start if the frame crashes. So we've done our validation, and so over on the next page is all the different LPARs here, and that I want to auto restart. And the reason not all these were put up on here was because of the I don't have enough CPU and memory over here, but normally you would. But like I said, I only have one frame, only 2 frames to work with. So I click on monitor, and it pops this panel here. And so monitor normally was put in for both auto remote restart and also to do a daily validation of the remote restart plan that you placed here. So these 2 checkboxes always come up when you click on monitor. I want to do a validation daily. And I do suggest that to customers, but that's what a health check. With remote restart status, it can become invalid. And then you want to send a validation email when it succeeds, and you have to set that up somewhere else. But then this bottom checkbox is the thing that is not automatically checked. So right now, if you had an outage and I just clicked apply, it would not automatically restart. I have to check this checkbox here to make it automatically restart. Now let's say I now want to do the validate every night at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'll set that up. This is the way you would normally set up the validation each evening. You want to do it at in the evening, and you don't want all of them to start at 2. If you have 20 frames, you don't want them all to validate at 2 o'clock. Have one at validate at 2, one at 2:05, 2:10, 2:15, 20, just to make it a little bit easier. And I hit apply, and then when I'm done, you'll see that the LPARs, I only had 2 LPARs that was fit on the frame, but normally if you had multiple frames, you'd have all your LPARs here. The auto SSR is set to yes, and auto validate set to yes, and it happens at 2 o'clock. And if I go back to the home page and I forget, I wonder what I've set up, you click on this auto SSR box, and it'll show you what you have set up, and you have multiple things set up. Okay, I'm going to try to stop the recording now.